bald. My product is I'm regrowing hair. I got a hair regrowth formula. I have proved it on one person, my brother, and I used him, and his hair automatically regrew. I want to start out Bald Be Gone, right? BBG is the name of the product. Bald Be Gone. And I incorporated, I went to LegalZoom. Yeah, went to LegalZoom, and I filed an LLC. I have a registered agent in the state of Illinois for Bald Be Gone with an EIN. What is the next thing I need to do?
Well, one, just because you did it on one person doesn't mean it's viable. And when you're talking about, any type of things that can really be detrimental to someone's health, you really need a trial, right?
Awesome. Welcome back to another episode of It Is What It Is podcast. As you know, this is Business-tainment, is where entertainment and business collide. I am your host, Cody Kelly. Look, follow me on all platforms. Instagram, cvmk33, cvmk_global. It is what it is _show. That's the 3 links. You can follow me on Fanbase, cvmk global, TikTok, cvmk global. As you know, this is a recurring thing. And on YouTube at cvmk, where the best podcast is seen, heard, and felt. And if you want to keep getting the best workout supplements, I got with me the best pre-workout superpower, only at www.cvmkglobal.store. I have with me Jevon Wooden, CEO of Live Not Loathe. I reached out to him via LinkedIn. His brother said, yeah, it's cool, let's connect. I'm super excited. He's a business leader, he's a coach. He's going to talk to us all things Jevon, and we're going to get into it. And with that being said, I'm going to introduce my guest. Jevon, how are you doing today?
Man, I'm doing well, Corey. How are you, brother?
Man, I'm here. If you're watching this, it's Monday. I recorded this on a Monday, so it's all going to sync. But, I'm super excited, man. The weather is kind of warming up here in Chicago. I won't say it's really warming up, but it's better than snow. So
how y'all do it?
we're gonna make it work, man. We're gonna make it work. But look, for the audience who doesn't know you or not familiar with your work, just give them a little insight into what you do and who you are.
Absolutely. So I'm Jevon Wooden, as you said, CEO of Live Not Loathe. I am a Bronze Star recipient from my time in the U.S. Army. I have a background in IT cybersecurity. I actually hold my master's in cybersecurity, and I have an MBA from Robert A. Smith Business School at University of Maryland. But outside of the accolades, I am someone who wanted to start a business, who also struggles with mental health. So there's 2 dynamics there, right? So when I first initially started my journey, it started in 2017. And it actually started while I was deployed in Afghanistan, right? I knew that I wanted to get out of the military. I knew I wanted to get out of tech, and I wanted to do something that served people. Hence the name Live Not Loathe. I knew that I used to struggle with loathing life, loathing my circumstances and all that other stuff. So I had to transform my mindset first, right? And when I thought about that, I said, you know what? When you transform your mindset, you control your destiny. And that's when I started doing mindset coaching initially. Fast forward, I transitioned to business coaching because as I was starting a business, I noticed there wasn't many people who looked like me, who could guide me, who can give me the game, right? And that's why I started focusing on entrepreneurship and business coaching, leveraging all the skills that I've attained over the years. And we just helping minority-based businesses, man, just launch and get that dynamic wealth.
No, I like it because there is a dearth of us. So, no, you're absolutely right. First of all, thank you for your service. Appreciate you. Thank you for real for all your sacrifice and commitment. But that's interesting to have the 2 dynamics. It's weird. It's like on one hand, you have this great calling, and on another hand, you have a great cross, and the 2 have to go hand in hand, right? But before we get into it, just a quick word from our sponsors.
There's a hero in all of us waiting to be unleashed. All it takes is just that one last push. Activate the hero within with CVMK Global Supplements. All natural, steroid-free, designed to enhance performance, build muscle, and increase energy. You are unstoppable. You can do this. Become your own hero at www.cvmkglobal.store.
All right, y'all, www.cvmkglobal.store. The best products are. It's your boy Cody, and he is back, Mr. CVMK33. So, Jevon, so you answered kind of the origin story, right? How this path was created. While you were serving, this epiphany came out that you wanted to help serve and lead in a different manner. What was your initial hurdles? Because I think that sometimes when revelation is given, like, this is what I want to do, sometimes we're not aware of what it really takes to do it, right? So we get this like idea,
Absolutely.
like, okay, I'm going to do this, but I don't really know what the next steps are. What was that for you?
Man, it was a lot. And I'm glad you're asking this question, because we always hear about the glitz and glamour side of entrepreneurship, right? From so-called, self-made people. But
yeah,
I'm going to tell you about the ugly side, man. It's like when you are a first generation entrepreneur, especially, like, you don't know what the heck you're doing. Like, there's so many moving pieces to entrepreneurship. You don't know about structure of your business, whether you need an LLC, S Corp, C Corp, all that. You don't know what costs are going to come your way, right? You don't know how to set up the systems, what systems you need. Where do you go to find clients? Like, there's so many things you think about. You always hear about, run a Facebook ad and people are going to come to you. Well, I tried that and it didn't work, right? It didn't work. And what I realized over time was the organic marketing is what worked best for me. People needed to see me and see me in action, get to know me. So you had to find what platforms work for you, whether you're a product or service-based business, for you to get in front of your target market. And that's another thing. Who's your target market, right? So there's like a million things you have to think about when you're talking about becoming a business owner.
No, I think that's well said. I don't think anybody fully understands the truth of your vision. And it really only gets revealed in time. Even if you get the degrees and whatnot, you get the concepts and the theories of an ideal state. But until you've actually gone out there, filed with the federal government, got your EIN, set up whatever type of organizational structure you're going to set up, and saw the pros and cons of that, and then realize everybody that says, hey, man, I'm going to come support you, doesn't support you. And not only doesn't support you, but buys from your competitor. You don't know what it's like to be an entrepreneur, to be out there on that shit by yourself and be like, hey, nobody's on this boat with me, so.
Yeah. And you have to know that, like, you can't expect, what I always tell my clients is, like, don't expect your family, your friends to be the people buying from you, because they're really probably not your target audience, right? Especially if you're service-based, like if you're a coach or consultant, they're probably not your target audience. And you're going to get people who love you to say you're crazy. Like, why would you do that? You have this cush job. You have this going on. Why do you want to do that, right? So you really have to have that passion and purpose that's going to drive you when those times when you're uncertain, and those times when you're like, man, I just want to throw in the towel, because you're going to experience that. And like you said, the education is great, but it's just theory, right? Our application is completely different from theoretical stuff. So that's my take on that. It's like you really learn from under-job training.
What makes you different? I've had a few coaches on here, a few business coaches, and I think they all have a unique expertise. And I really do think they can help. I think I'm trying to place myself in the audience's shoes, when they see you or they see a business coach, the first thing they're going to say is, what makes this person different? Does their strategy, methodology really work? Who have they worked with? And then what are the costs? Right? Like, those are the three frameworks, right? So what makes you different?
Right. Cool. Great answer. Great question. Well, one, I would like for people to transform their mindset from cost to investment, right? My framework, I use what I call the 5 Why framework. That's my proprietary framework. And we look at everything the business needs. I'm going to start where you are, right? Whether you're in ideation phase and you haven't quite started that business, I can help you grow. If you're in the growth plan phase, I can come up with a strategy, look at your whole vision, right? And then distill down what you need, what resources you already have, and then help you create an action plan. So what makes me different is I'm able to distill down the big picture vision into an actionable plan, right? We'll set up milestones, we'll set up goals, we'll set up what resources you need along the way. I can help you with your tech setup, which is a big runway or big issue for a lot of folks, right? That tech implementation. I can do copy. I know a lot of different things, right? And I know them well because I'm a nerd, right? I like to read, I like to implement, I like to try things out in my own business. And that's another thing. I'm not going to tell you anything I haven't done, right? If I don't know it, I'm not going to act like I know it. I'm going to be like, okay, let's research that. I don't quite know. It's unfamiliar to me. Let's find a way. And I'm not going to just let you go by the wayside and do things on your own. I'm going to help you out. I'm going to actually guide you step for step. And I think that's what differentiates me. There's a lot of people who call themselves business coaches, but they really only know one specific thing. Maybe they know funnels. Maybe they know Facebook ads. Maybe they know something, but they're not actually a business coach. They don't know business, right? And that's really what makes me different is I know this and I've tried it and I've been there and I've done it. I failed and I'm going to keep it real with you about my failures so you don't go through them.
I like that. I've done it and I failed. That I think is the differentiator. I think everybody looks for success as if somehow success is separate from failure, or if failure is not actually the signpost to success, right? Like they go hand in hand, right? So when it comes to building the sustainability, right? I think most entrepreneurs, I really believe skip steps, and I think everybody does to a point. Not having, and maybe it's probably an issue of resources, but not understanding the full complexity of the landscape. And then when you go out there, and I've seen companies do it, it's not like well, if you got a small startup and you only have like $10,000 of working capital. I mean, I've seen companies with $1 million of working capital still skip steps because there's this desire to speed up something, to get to this plateau without really any true merit or true vettedness. So let's talk about creating sustainability, right? I meet with you. My product, Jevon, we're both bald. My product is I'm regrowing hair. I got a hair regrowth formula. I have proved it on one person, my brother, and I used him and his hair automatically regrew. I want to start off Bald Be Gone, right? BBG is the name of the product. Bald Be Gone. And I've incorporated, I went to LegalZoom. Yeah, went to LegalZoom and I filed an LLC. I have a registered agent in the state of Illinois for Bald Be Gone with an EIN. What is the next thing I need to do?
Well, one, just because you did it on one person doesn't mean it's viable. And when you're talking about, any type of things that can really be detrimental to someone's health, you really need a trial, right? You need to get this tested. You need to be scientifically backed, because if someone tries that product and they have an adverse reaction because you didn't know that one of your ingredients caused that, you could be in a lot of trouble, right? So if we're talking about Bald Be Gone specifically, there are a lot of steps to take before that, right? Which means you need a trial phase, or maybe instead of trying to create your own formula, maybe you white label something that was already proven, right? That's another route you could take. So you may not have to create your own thing. So there's a lot of things there, right? It's not just creating an LLC or whatever formation you have and putting something out there immediately, especially when it comes to anything that can cause adverse reactions health-wise, right? So you have to do your research, check the market, see if it's needed in the market. Who are your competitors? What are they doing? What trials have they gone through? Do they have a label that maybe you can look for, like vegan or paleo-friendly, animal-friendly? What's your differentiated factor? So there's a lot of work that needs to be done before we put this BBG out there, man.
BBG is gonna sell. People sleep on BBG.
A lot of people put a lot of money.
Hey, we just need a rapper with a hook and a TikTok video. We can make $1 million off of BBG.
I wish it worked like that.
But honestly, and I know I'm joking, but honestly, because other business coaches market the success like that. When you go, you scroll on TikTok, and this is why I think social media is a good and a dangerous place at the same time. It's because you're seeing a 30-second reel with a hip hop video or a melody in the background, and this thing that took years to get off the ground is condensed into seconds, and you can say, well, that's how I make it. That's how I drive the Lamborghinis in life, right? Like, it's just, I needed, a macro or micro influencer to stand behind my product, give them 30% of the proceeds and say, BBG works, because what people have dialed or deduced, I think their offering is that it doesn't have to work. It only has to work in the mind of the consumer. And maybe it's a drop off in quality, right? The placebo effect. So I think a lot of times, whatever the product is, the placebo interest is better than the reality. You're buying the idea, not the truth. So BBG, gets Cardi B and we make money, and that's everybody's thing, right? So no shots to Cardi B. Honestly, Cardi B, I wish you could sponsor cvmkglobal.store. So, so I'm just saying, I just want to be honest with you, but let's lay the cards. One more question, then we're going to jump to a sponsor break, and then we're going to hit another line. If the hurdle is investment, how come we don't hear enough about, I've never heard a business coach, mindset coach say that I work with a funding partner. My job is to see if, we can get you access to capital. You become like a broker, basically. And then therefore the investment you already take off the top. Everything else now can start the wheel moving forward.
Yeah, I think as a business, and that's why I say some people call themselves a business coach, but they're not, right? I think that access to capital is one of the things, especially for minority businesses, it limits us tremendously, right? We don't really know where to go, especially when it comes to creative funding. Many of us, when we start, maybe we're bootstrapping and we're using private, our private funds. So maybe our credit score isn't that good. And that's the first thing that they're going to look at when you go for business credit. When you're first starting, a lot of them, you can't do that unless you have some type of history. So I look at my clients and I ask, what's the best source of funding for them? What do they need? Right. So I do have partnerships with companies. Maybe they need, they can't go to a big bank like a Chase or something like that. So maybe they need something that has their own private funding. They're not publicly traded, so they don't have to answer to as many people, right? Maybe they need a business line of credit. Maybe they need a gas card, right? So we look at other ways to get it. Maybe it needs to be a secured line of credit, et cetera. So there's some collateral there. So we look at all that stuff. So I definitely do the research on that for my clients. There's things that people may not know that you hear of all the time, like PayPal has a 120-day same as cash type of loan, like a line of credit you can get. There's a lot of different ways to get money that we just aren't educated on. So that's what I do for my clients for sure.
I like it. We're going to get into it because I think we've opened something. We're going to move from having to evolve from influencer to actually leader. And that's what I want to get into. But another word from our sponsors.
I literally just tried the best pre-workout on the planet. With Superpower pre-workout, you have increased focus and a power boost every single time you work out. It's not only packed with 225 milligrams of caffeine, but it also has citrulline and creatine. It's insane how much energy and focus I had during my workouts. If you're ready to take your workouts to the next level, then ditch your current pre-workout and get the Superpower pre-workout to be your own hero.
Awesome, y'all. www.cvmkglobal.store. Get it today. Superpower, Warrior Thirst, Transform, Super Thick. I'm trying to think of what else is out there. Saucy. All of the products are there. Get it today. So we talk about that influencer space, I feel, and I want to get your take on this. I feel that we've given influencers too much power because they're influencing something that they're not, to me, totally invested in. No, I get branding and brand appeal and marketing, But if I have an influencer saying I should bank with this bank, right? And I don't feel like this person is really the thralls of the bank's culture, aims, initiatives. They just got a high profile celebrity to market toward a demographic that wasn't responding. Should I listen to these individuals? What are your feels or what are your feelings about these corporate influencers?
Yeah, I mean, influencer marketing is heavily used these days. About 85% of corporate companies say they will have or will use influencer marketing in some shape or form this year, right? But like you said, there's really no regulation on this, but we're starting to see how it can come back to bite that influencer, right? With the whole FTX crash, right? All those influencers like Shaq and all them, they're starting to come after them because they're saying, hey, they had some responsibility to the audience to not share if they weren't sure that this was a good product in the first place, right? So we are starting to see like laws and stuff catch up with that. I just tell the audience, like, be mindful, like make sure that you do your own research. Don't just listen to someone because they're a celebrity, right? It's really the companies, they're just out here trying to spread their product or service however they can. And if they have a big budget, they're going to bring in these key people. And the only thing the influencer has, like a Shaq or someone, you know, not to pick on Shaq, but, you know, they may have some equity stake in that company, right? Maybe they get 1%, maybe they get whatever on the back end. So we just have to be mindful as consumers not to just go get something just because our favorite celebrity said, hey, this is hot. This is what it is. Do your own research because the laws haven't caught up, right? There's nothing saying that they can't make these claims, right? There's just goodwill. We all see that fine print on the bottom when we read stuff. Or, you know, or they have to say ad, right? That's the ethics of content marketing. It has to say ad if it's an ad. So just be mindful of that. All right, it's an ad. Let me go and do a little dig deeper. You know, a lot of these things, especially if they're public, they have a K1, right? You can go look at what they say in their stock market portfolios and all that other stuff. So the research is out there. You just have to be willing to do it as a consumer.
Do you think that companies really care about the truth of the product? And what I mean by that, like, you know, I think that like every organization, the first focus is profitability. If we can't become profitable, it doesn't matter if the product is safe or if it doesn't work because we can't even, you know, continue. So continuance becomes the priority, not necessarily, and I don't mean like safety, like it'll harm somebody, but I mean like proven, like case studies, stats, true empirical data that justifies the existence of this one particular thing, right? Like the rush to become profitable supersedes the rush to be true. Is that a just obvious, you can't get around it? Or is that something, or do we really have to rethink business?
Yeah, I don't think that every company is like that. Like profitability has to be one of your components, right? Without that, you won't be in business for long. But I think a lot of organizations are becoming socially conscious, do have something behind them on why they're doing what they do. You know, you think about the Patagonia trees, right? Every percent of the proceeds go to something else, right? Or Tom's, you know, using recyclable materials, you know. You have these companies who are based on a social movement and I think that these days, most organizations have to stand for something, right? And you'll notice in marketing, people, you know, a lot of these companies are talking more about that, right? What they stand for, how they don't stand for hate, you know, how they support different communities, marginalized communities, how, you know, 1% of the proceeds goes to these trees. So it's really a known thing that you have to, as a company these days, people are smarter. They're wising up. Like I said, the information is out there. So if you are just about greed, you will get found out. You know, years ago, Nike got in trouble, right? Their factories, even though Nike is known as a stand-up company, they had factories outsourced that were in trouble for child labor laws, and Nike's reputation suffered. So we have to think about that as organizations. Your reputation really takes a long time to build, and it can happen in a flash that it's get destroyed. And companies care about that more than the profitability aspect, because one wrong thing and you'll start losing everything. I mean, Case in point, Adidas, right? With the Kanye thing, they dropped Kanye. Now they have $500 million in the stock for Yeezys that they can't get rid of, right? And that is a PR nightmare. That's two
Right.
you talked about influence and then the reputation, caring about profitability, right? They show that they can't use just profitability as their thing because they dropped Kanye, right? But now they have another problem. So it's a trade-off.
Right. I was thinking the same. I was like, John Morant, like you have to.
Yeah, John Morant, right? With Nike, you didn't even release the shoe yet.
I know. And now there's like talks like, wait a minute, do we do this? So it's this hesitation. So obviously, so you have established the truth. Every brand, I don't care how big you are, I don't care if you're the Nikes of the world, which are the big, behemoths that everybody wants to become and aspire to, because they have shown you what a blueprint of success. Phil Knight and his team has created a undeniable empire. Shout out to them. But from the small mom and pop stores, the small entrepreneur-based, entities, at-home businesses, to the large, organizations out there, every org needs these inside strategists and coaches. It seems like an independent board of review. I think it's the best way to say that.
Right.
If
you should have advisors.
That's it.
At the very least, you should have a board of advisors. That's
it. If I'm a company right now, next 5 minutes, and I'm like, hey, look, BBG, we tried it. We got with some rapper. He made a terrible video in a strip club. Now we're gonna take BBG down or rebrand it. we are in trouble. BBG can't sell, whatever. So walk us through the steps. Take us from, we have a problem. The problem is this. The problem is funding. And then how do we get Jevon services?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if it's a funding problem, like I said, you have to, if you really want something, you're going to be resourceful, right? So I always recommend people look around you, like who's around you. Look at your network first, because you may find that someone has a connection right into the bank or the funding partner that you need. Right. And then for me, like I said, if you connect with the proper coach or mentor who actually has this type of skill set or connections to find the creative funding, that's where you go. Right. But you have to do the work to know how much funding you need so you don't overfund and then get stuck if it doesn't work. Right. You have to know exactly your capital, like have some projections. If it's a new business, how much do you project making? Because if you don't know that, no bank's going to work with you, right? How much do you make on your personal side? Do you have any revenue or income? Do you have any collateral, right? So you get all that stuff together. And then when you put together a pretty picture for the bank to say, hey, I'm looking for an unsecured loan or business line of credit or whatever, or apply for a credit card. And that's what I would help you with. I would help you know what to say. I would help you know how to paint that picture. And then I would help you do your assessments, your financial analysis to say, hey, this is what we project to making. This is our, trailing 12. If I already did a year of business, 2 years in business, whatever, we'd look at that. And then we would create that picture of what would we do with the funding. Most banks or any funding partners want to see at least marketing and advertising. At least 50% of that is marketing and advertising. That's what they love to see, right? And then you have a percentage of working capital. Maybe you outsource to contractors, maybe you have to pay yourself, etc. So those two things are always in every single funding doc I've ever seen, right? They always look for that. And that's what I would be there for. And then to work with me, you just book a call, right? You get a free consultation with me and we talk about what you need. Like I said, from ideation all the way up to a Fortune 500 company, I can help because I'm looking at it from a different perspective than you probably are because you're in the fight all day, every day.
Appreciate you. Look, y'all know what it is. Everybody needs help. Everybody needs a coach. They need an independent board of advisors that is going to properly instruct them on what they can't foresee or the leverage they need to create. In any case, that has to be done by someone who is going to put the best interest of your business at priority level without the personal attachment that can distract from the business. Sometimes you just need somebody to tell you, hey, look, BBG was a bad idea.
This ain't gonna work.
You need to go up right now.
It's not viable. Yeah,
it's not viable.
Absolutely.
It's not gonna work. I'm sorry. We gotta retry BBG. Jevon, where can they connect with you? What social platforms can they follow you on?
Man, you can follow me on every platform: Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all at Live Not Loathe. That's LIVENOTLOATHE. Or you can go to livenotloathe.com and book that free consultation.
No, go to livenotloathe.com, connect with Jevon, him up on LinkedIn, him up on all the social media platforms. You know what you got to do? Connect with your boy, cvmk33, cvmk_global. See, it is what it is. Show on Instagram, cvmkglobal, TikTok, Fanbase, YouTube, cvmk. I feel like it's always cvmkglobal.store.
That's good, man. That's a brand key right there, right?
That's it. Bro. The name, I'm telling you, it's going to be the name of Gucci soon. They're going to be like, you wearing CVMK? Yes, the best sports
I love it.
on the market. Best creatine, best protein, cvmkglobal.store. And until next time, guys, thanks. Thanks for watching. If you want to keep seeing amazing content, subscribe at CVMK.